Tonight in the South Bank Show, we present our annual Ken Russell film, a portrait of the final years of Sir Arnold Bax, Britain's last great romantic composer. With practically everything Bax ever wrote available on record, he is today enjoying a long overdue revival for which Ken Russell is partly responsible, in that he personally financed pioneer recordings of Bax's first two symphonies. Russell identifies with the composer so strongly that he felt compelled to play the part of the man himself. The film also reunites Glenda Jackson MP with Ken, who is responsible for launching her on an Oscar-winning career. Filmed early this year, it's Glenda Jackson's last screen performance before leaving real life for the House of Commons. The film also features Hetty Baines as Annie, the woman who gave the unfashionable composer a new lease of life. She is now Mrs. Ken Russell. They fell in love during the filming. Ken thought you should all know that. Set in 1948, the film opens with Bax viewing David Lean's film Oliver Twist. With him is his fellow composer John Ireland. This was Bax's first, and as it turned out, his last feature film score.
Marvellous.
You really think so?
Extraordinary. Go on. I've only one word of criticism.
Tell me.
The nose.
The nose?
Yes, the nose. Conk the snout. Fagin's nose, Guinness's nose. The nose was a touch too large, even for an Israelite. Oh, dear. Oh, Arnold. I do believe you imagined I was talking about your music.
No, I agree entirely. It got in the way of his performance. What did you think of the lad playing Oliver?
He was a real sweetie. I could have gobbled him up. As for your score, Arnold, I can't remember a note. How much did they pay you for writing that lot?
Barely enough to pay the rates on Harriet's flat.
In that case, it's my treat. What do you fancy? Oh, yes, I know what you fancy, but you can't have it.
Neither can you, old man. Come on, I'll buy you a drink.
Fancy a tub, sir?
Evening, darling. When did that arrive?
It arrived at the Times, special delivery from HMV. What did you think?
I prefer the film soundtrack. The record sounds rather coarse. Though not your playing, my dear. That was most refined in both mediums.
I presume you've missed the last train and wish to stay the night.
If it wouldn't be too much trouble.
I have a recital in Leeds tomorrow. I shall be up bright and early.
I'll bring you a cup of tea.
Not if I know you. Who were you boozing with tonight?
I took John Ireland to see the film.
Oh.
We dropped in at the club for a nightcap. He sends his love, by the way.
Dear John. I'm starting the second half of my program with the Holy Boy.
Dear John and his choir boys. What are you playing of mine?
Well, to tell you the truth, Arnold, nothing. No, I've been plugging you so much lately, people are beginning to talk.
Well, they've been talking for over 30 years, my love.
Oh, nonsense, it's not as long as that. Don't be so ungallant.
Certainly doesn't seem as long, I admit.
I was thinking of playing The Maiden with the Daffodil as an encore.
Oh, I've written better things than that, my love.
Yes, but it's dedicated to me.
Everything I've ever written for the piano has been for you, my love.
The first piece you ever wrote for me. You stayed up all night, don't you remember? The moment you set eyes on me, you put pen to paper.
Did I?
You know you did.
You're getting sentimental all of a sudden. You haven't played that for years.
No, not really. I'm just so pleased with the good news.
What news?
In the Times today, didn't you see it?
You know perfectly well I always take the Telegraph.
Oh, I thought that was just for the crossword.
Then what did I miss? A review? If so, I beg you to keep me in the dark about it. I was just beginning to enjoy myself.
No, not a review. It was a will. Your wife's will. When did she die, Arnold?
I suppose it was over a year ago now.
Why didn't you tell me?
I was waiting for the right moment. Out of consideration.
Consideration? Consideration for whom? Me, who stuck by you all these years, or the wife you abandoned even before the children were out of their cradle?
And it was out of consideration for the children.
Oh, Arnold, you're hardly a devoted father. Is there any earthly reason why you and I should not get married? God knows I've waited long enough.
I was keeping this a surprise.
I've beaten you to it, you old soak. Where will it be? Westminster Abbey? Well, now you're master of the King's music, we've every right. We'll show 'em. Oh, you must write a fanfare. Rather like the one you did for Princess Elizabeth's wedding, only more trumpets. Farewell, Harriet Cohen. Hail, Lady Bax.
What instrument do you play?
How can you tell I play an instrument?
By your steady hand? In fact, you have a music score on your lap? What are you studying?
My skirt and how to save it getting stained. You're Arnold Bax, aren't you? I mean, Sir Arnold Bax.
Guilty?
Sybil Chadwick.
Arnold. When you first recognized me, I thought we might have met before. Terrible memory for names. Faces too come to that.
No, I saw your picture in the paper. There was an article on you when you got your knighthood. When the press came down to interview you at the White Horse in Storrington.
You know Storrington?
I get off at the next stop. And they showed you drinking a pint with the locals. There's also a picture of you at the Royal Academy. Taken in your student days, I imagine.
Sure you didn't recognize me from that. You're a student there yourself, I take it?
I study the piano, yes. The 3 Bs.
Bach, Beethoven and Brahms.
Brahms, Bartok, and Bax.
What have you got there? Good God! My symphonic variations! What are you playing at? This is no chance meeting, it's a put-up job.
I've often seen you on the train, yes. I wanted to meet you.
Why?
I want to play this for my public debut at the Albert Hall.
I'm afraid that's not possible. Miss Harriet Cohn has exclusive performing rights on that until the day she retires.
Which must be any day now.
I'd have to bury her first. Why do you want to play it anyway?
Because I've heard her murder it.
Why don't we discuss it over lunch tomorrow? Yeah. See you in the hotel bar about 1:45, and there's a short cut through King's Wood. You know it? Yeah. Good. Bye. Yeah. Here we are.
No piano?
No inspiration.
Pity. I could have played for you.
I'll just put the kettle on then.
And then you were going to look up the times of the films.
I can't believe you haven't seen it yet.
It hasn't come to our local yet.
Well, it's my great good fortune that we're both up in town tomorrow. You must be my guest.
I gather Harriet plays a solo. I'm dying to hear it.
Yes, I scored young Oliver Twist's theme for strings and piano.
I suppose it must have been a rather simple theme then.
Now, Sybil, don't start on that tack again.
I've seen her play. She has tiny hands. They can barely span an octave.
Oh, really? Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. It was a book of my poems. I think they'd interest you.
I didn't know you were a poet.
Don't tell me you've never heard of Dermot O'Byrne.
I'm ashamed to say I never have.
Well, it's easily remedied. His Dublin ballads are on the bookshop over there. They'll be next to the whiskey bottle. I've been thinking, you know, if you really want to take up something of mine, why not one of the piano sonatas? No one ever seems to play them these days, and they're really rather good, especially number 2.
Wasn't that dedicated to Harriet?
I'm beginning to think you've got a one-track mind. Besides, that was way back in the 20s, when she was really rather a smasher. Anyway, she hasn't played it for years.
For one simple reason. She can't. It's too difficult.
That's it. My book of poems on the Troubles. It had the distinction of being banned by His Majesty's censor. It says in words some of the things the second sonata expresses in music.
If I did take it up, would you coach me?
I might. There should be a record of it over here somewhere. Here's a little fragment of the development section of the second sonata.
Romantic theme represent?
You find it romantic, do you? I suppose it is, really.
It's that wretched woman again.
It isn't. I assure you, it's just about the trouble.
Yes, the domestic troubles.
Please, it simply isn't true.
Goodness me, is that the time? My, I had no idea it was so late.
But it's only 2:45, and you haven't finished your tea.
I know, but I'm going to miss my train if I don't get a move on. Thanks so much for lunch. I'll get hold of a copy of the sonata and contact you when I've reached some degree of competence.
Yeah, but we're still on for tomorrow night, aren't we?
Oh, yes. You were going to look up the time?
7:30. I've just remembered. Bijou, Charing Cross Road.
Right. I'll be there 7:30 on the dot. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ticket, please, sir.
The box office was closed.
Of course it is. The film's nearly over.
Then perhaps you can sell me a ticket.
You were sneaking in. That's what you were doing. Admit
I
it.
was doing no such thing. That's preposterous. Now, why can't you sell me a ticket?
Because we're closed and they're doing the books. That's why.
I only want to see the end of the film. Surely you can make an exception and sneak me in. After all, I'm a regular patron.
Yeah, I've had my eye on you. And I reckon you're up to no good. Now, if you don't buzz off this minute, I'm calling the manager. Right?
Right. And I bid you a very good evening, miss.
Blimey.
See you tomorrow then.
And don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Don't worry, I never go that far. Night, Bert.
Good night, Annie. Round about you.
Piss off, I'm late.
I'm not a member. Is it all right to
That's all right, Tom.
That's £1.17 and sixpence.
keep the change?
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Is that you, dear?
That depends. Am I the dear you were expecting?
What you will do for tonight? Help yourself to a drink.
How did the recital at Leeds go?
Splendidly. They adored the maiden with the daffodil.
Oh, so you did play it then?
I told you I was going to.
Well, only as an encore.
I also played the romance.
Good. It's nice. You're spoiling me.
Talking of romance, I presume that is why you're here.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm afraid I missed my train again.
You are incorrigible. I was counting on a proposal tonight.
I'm afraid if ever I got down on these poor old knees, I'd never get up again.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, don't you think we're a little too mature for this sort of thing?
What sort of thing?
Well, getting all togged up to go trotting down the aisle.
Oh, Arnold, you and we 30 years. It's time to make it official.
Well, 30 years on and off.
Yes. Me on tour, you off composing, and whose fault was that?
It was no one's fault, but I did invite you to Scotland. You never came.
To spend entire winters in a drafty hotel in the middle of nowhere, watching you waiting for inspiration, I should think not. What woman would? Would any woman in her right mind, I ask you?
Well, since you do ask, yes.
What do you mean, yes?
There was someone.
Oh, I'm sure there was. Let me guess. Was it the barmaid? It wouldn't be the first time.
People in glass houses.
Or perhaps it was some nymphette you encountered at the Highland Games.
There's no fun and games in Morat, I assure you. There's just a post office and a hotel. The most glamorous creatures around are the local sheep.
Oh, so you had to import them rather as we import haggis.
By train, yes. We always went by train.
Oh, so it's we now. How long has this been going on?
Well, nowhere near as long as us, my love. Excuse me, please. No more than about 20 years or so.
What did you say?
Well, about 20 years or so.
What? Who is this woman?
Well, her name is Mary Gleaves.
And who, pray, is Mary Gleaves?
Well, she lives at home with her sister.
How old is she?
It must be about 40.
Oh, well, getting a bit long in the tooth for a nymphette. Which means, I suppose, you must be on the lookout for another doormat.
That's not so.
Was she a teenager when you took up with her?
No, not quite.
So she must have been about the age I was when you swept me off my feet. Did you hold hands, go for moonlight walks along the beach at Morat? I presume there is a beach at Morat.
No. It's just down the road.
Did you tell her she was your inspiration? Did you write symphonic poems to her?
Nah, not symphonic poems, no. Symphonies, yes.
Well, well. And yet you never dedicated one to her. Dedications to Koussevitzky, Adrian Bolt, Henry Wood, even that old Soak Sibelius, but never to Dear Mary Love Arnold. Why?
I didn't want to embarrass her. And anyway, she's not in the public eye, she's not a performer, and she's not a famous soloist. I thought you'd understand. Christ, I wish I'd never mentioned it. Anyway, she's a very private person.
What am I? Your public whore? What has she ever done for you? Did she promote your music when the very mention of your name was guaranteed to empty every concert hall in the civilized world? Did she push your music in the face of complete blind indifference, battering away at the BBC until they gave you a hearing, even though you were desperately out of date? What has she given you that I have failed to give you year in, year out?
In a word, love.
How dare you sit down! You just sit there for 1 minute. What was playing when you came in?
Tintagel, wasn't it?
Tintagel. What did it remind you of?
Well, the Atlantic on a sunny but not windless summer's day.
And us, making love on the cliff top.
Fanned?
The goddess of the sea. Do you remember that picnic?
I remember someone spoiling a perfectly good glass of champagne.
I'd just come out of the water. You said I looked like a sea nymph with diamonds in my hair.
There was no need to shake them all into my drink.
What happened then?
I threw away the champagne.
And made love to me.
Listening to you, one would imagine that's all we ever used to do.
It was.
Until you became a star and found fatter fish to fry.
Oh, don't start that again.
I think I should be going.
Going where?
Don't worry, she doesn't live in London.
You're not thinking of marrying her?
Not thinking of marrying anyone just now.
Because that would be simply intolerable.
Good evening again.
I thought it was you earlier on. I was thinking of calling the manager.
Why didn't you?
You buggered off.
I had a train to catch.
You missed it.
By 2 minutes.
And it was the last one. So you came back for second helping.
Just like Oliver Twist.
Daft bugger. And why do you always turn up when the show's over?
Why do you always want to call the manager?
Because I reckon you were up to no good. That's why you followed me.
Can you blame me? Look, I'd like to. Could you spare me 2 minutes of your time?
It'll cost you.
That's all right.
You like for a bottle of champagne?
I am if you are.
Frank, champagne. The best.
Your very good health.
Happy days.
Drink to that.
Now, what's all this about then?
Well, it's difficult to know how to put it.
Where to put it, eh? I warn you, I'm not into anything kinky.
What do you mean?
Come off it. And you damn well you're up to something funny. Why else would you come to that flea pit 3 times a week for a whole month?
Why do you think I came?
Dunno. Thought you'd give me the eye once or twice, but you didn't try anything on, so I guess you must be some kind of weirdo. What are you into exactly?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Don't worry, I'm broad-minded. And I know it takes all sorts. Trust me.
Well, if you must know, I'm into music.
Music?
I'm a composer, a musician.
You're a songwriter?
Yeah, I have written songs and symphonies, chamber music.
Chamber music, the mind boggles.
Look, I'd like you to come away with me to Cornwall and dance on the beach to a recording of my music.
What?
I'll pay you £10 a day.
And what sort of dancing would you want me to do?
Anything that comes to mind. Your interpretation of Greensleeves was quite moving.
Yeah, and I bet I know which part was doing the moving.
You're a very sensual young lady.
I don't usually do this sort of thing, you know. I'm a trained ballet dancer, but things are a bit quiet now.
I sympathise.
What, things are a bit quiet for you too?
That's one way of putting it. So what do you say?
I'll go with you on one condition.
What is it?
That you tell me why you came so often to the Bijou. Was it to see me?
In all honesty, no.
Oh.
I came to hear my music.
What?
I wrote the music you hear on the soundtrack.
Then you were bullshitting me.
You are looking at a desperate man. Cinema's one of the few places the public can hear my music these days. That's when Oliver Twist's on the bill, anyway.
You must be going round that twist yourself.
Yet there was a time when performance of one of my symphonies would fill the Queen's Hall. That's when the public were into a more romantic kind of music.
Like Tchaikovsky?
Rachmaninoff would be closer to the mark. Oliver Twist was my first feature film score. What do you think of it?
It's okay. I like the Fagin bit.
Ah, Fagin's Romp. You know it.
Know it? If you heard it 3 times a day, every day for a month, you'd know it too.
Alec Guinness better look to his laurels.
So you never noticed me?
Well, I noticed you all right. That's why I had the temerity to follow you. I could tell you were a dancer from the start.
How could you tell?
Your general deportment, straight back, the way you hold your head.
Tell me more.
The way you held your tray.
Go on.
And there's something nymph-like about you. I like nymphs. And I also sense about you a spirit of adventure. And I think that deep, deep down, we're kindred spirits. What do you say?
You've got spirits on the plane. What's your name?
Watch the credits at tomorrow's matinee and you'll see I'm the one with the big cymbal crash. You will come, won't you, Annie? I may call you Annie, mayn't I?
Why not? Everyone else does.
Good. Then let's get down to the sordid details, times, dates, etc.
I suppose we'll have separate rooms.
Naturally.
Good. Just wanted to make sure.
You do drive, I take it.
Good licence, yeah?
Good. Then we'll hire a car. Now, when are you free?
Me? Oh, I'm never free, Chug. And I'll need something in advance, mind you. Okay?
Okay.
Frank, we need a top-up. How much further?
To the hotel? Oh, about 20 miles or so. Why?
Well, we could have had tea there, couldn't we?
Game pie and champagne wouldn't have been on the menu. Any complaints?
No, sir. Just wonder why we stopped here, that's all.
Well, I made up my mind we'd have a picnic at Tintagel. And have a picnic at Tintagel we shall. Oh, can you get me a slice of game pie?
Aye, aye, sir. How do you want it? Large or small?
Small, please. And a light dusting of pepper while you're there.
Aye, aye, sir. Excuse fingers.
Thank you. And I think it's time you stopped acting as if I was Admiral of the Fleet. All this saluting and calling me sir.
But you are, sir. Read it on the credits of Oliver Twist. Music composed by Sir Arnold Bax. Do you know the King?
Yes. Why do you want to know?
Well, you're master of the King's music, aren't you?
Yes, I am. How'd you find out?
Oh, I always check up on the guys I go out with.
Even GIs?
What do you mean?
Well, your slang. You picked it up in the war, I suppose.
And the flicks? Do you know any film stars?
Can't say as I do.
Well, not even Robert Newton. He was great as Bill Sykes. Didn't you even meet him?
I'm afraid not. They usually send for the composer when everyone else has gone.
So what sort of music do you write for the King?
Nothing much. Made a few fanfares for the royal wedding.
Did you get to meet Princess Elizabeth?
Yeah. We all got to kiss the bride.
Oh. And she kissed you right back. And she said, Arnie, I just dig those crazy tunes.
I doubt if she even noticed them. They were old tunes anyway, tunes I'd used before. One in a victory march and one in a documentary on Malta. Nobody noticed anyway. Nobody cared.
So you shortchanged them. I don't blame you, I do it all the time. If they're all too dumb to notice, that's too bad. Maybe you were right. We're not so different after all.
I like your hat. Get it from a Yank.
What's that to you?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
If you must know, I got it for this trip. Special.
It's the closest thing you could get to a chauffeur's cap.
It's for the dance. The dance on the beach.
You got the wrong composer.
What?
Sea shanties and hornpipes are Henry Wood's province, not mine.
So what sort of dance do you want me to do then?
Well, not Follow the Fleet, or I'd have hired Ginger Rogers.
Dream on. You couldn't afford her. Seriously, what do you want me to dance?
I'll tell you later.
When?
Go for a candlelit supper for two.
You got a date. Let's hit the road, sir.
Hello? Yes, that is correct. Well, he is, but I'm afraid he's at dinner at the moment. Very urgent. Well, that's different. No, I'm sure that will be all right. They're just finishing their coffees. Hang on.
Hello, John? What the hell's the matter? Well, of course I knew it was you. No one else knows where I am. But you're only supposed to call me in an emergency. You didn't tell her, did you? Thank God for that. No, I am not with Mary Cleaves. Make her believe that, please. No, I will not come back or refuse to be forever at her beck and call. And whatever you do, don't give her this number, will you? Look, I know it's not your fault. Sorry for the trouble you've been caused. I know. Thanks. Yeah. Good night.
I've finished. Shall we go out? Come on, sir.
See you in a couple of minutes then.
Come in. What kept you?
Oh. Nothing.
Bad news, was it?
No. Our music is a symphonic poem called The Garden of Fand. Fand is Neptune's daughter, goddess of the sea, lures men onto a magic island and enchants them with a song of immortal love and betrays them. There are some pictures in here that might help you with your interpretation. The dance itself starts on side 3, just after the solo on the Celeste.
What? The Mary Celeste?
The Celeste's a tinkly sort of instrument.
Did you say tickly?
It introduces Fand. It's when you come out of the water looking like a sea nymph. With diamonds in your hair.
Without the aid of the sailor hat?
Or anything else.
You must be joking.
Put a sock in it to muffle the sound. I'm a light sleeper. See you at breakfast 7:30. I've ordered tea for 7. Pleasant dreams.
Pleasant dreams. You old fart.
Bleeding tide's in, innit?
Sorry, I should have checked. Never mind, it'll soon go out. At least we got the place to ourselves.
Pity I always perform best with an audience.
Fancy a nip?
It'll help me with me warm-up.
What have you come as?
What do you mean?
Well, you're still dressed.
You call this dress?
I wanted you naked.
What you want and what you gonna get is two different things.
If it's more money you want, I can go to another tenner.
What if someone should come along? We'd be bloody well run in.
Well, nobody's going to come along. Anyway, we can't have the goddess of the sea in a bathing costume and look bloody daft.
Daft yourself. What else would she be in?
She'd be in the Altogether.
She'd be in the Altogether. Why would she be? Since when a goddess has gone naked? And what's more, I want 10 quid extra inconvenience money against the cold.
Right. You win. Keep your costume on and chalk up another tenner. And the tide's nearly out.
Oh yeah, and there's something else and all. There was an old programme in the book.
What?
The garden of Fand is the sea. Blah, blah, blah. Some boring old stuff about an Irish legend which has nothing to do with the story in your music.
I know all that. I wrote it.
In the earlier portion of the work, the composer seeks to create the atmosphere of an enchanted Atlantic completely calm beneath the spell of the other world. Upon its surface floats a small boat, tossed by a giant wave onto the shores of Fan's miraculous island. Here is inhuman revelry unceasing, and the voyagers are caught up, unresisting into the maze of the dance. A pause comes, and Fan sings her song of immortal love, enchaining the hearts of her listeners forever.
I'm paying you to dance it, not recite it.
The important bit is, here is inhuman revelry unceasing, and the voyagers are caught up, unresisting into the maze of the dance. Then Fan comes in.
So?
Well, I can't go into my number just like that, with no build-up. I need you to get me in the mood.
Me? How?
Well, you're half pissed already, so it shouldn't be too difficult to work up a bit of inhuman revelry.
You're crazy. That's entirely out of the question.
Why?
Well, for one thing, I can't dance, and for another thing, I can't...
You know the music backwards. Come on, you're all very fine getting other people to do your fantasies, but not so hot when it comes to acting them out yourself.
The agreement was that I paid you £10 a day to come down here and... Wait! Come back! All right. But only the phrase before your entry.
You got a deal. Ready, sir, and I want you naked.
That's extra! The best moment we enter another world. Harry, we miss your entrance after the Celeste, remember?
All right, keep your hair on.
this for a lark?
But you missed the climax.
Story of my life, love. If I don't get into a hot bath soon, I shall die.
Hello?
It's me.
Come in. Feeling better?
Hot bath works wonders.
So does a hot toddy. May I offer you one?
Most certainly me, sir.
Do stop calling me sir. You're not on duty now.
Right, Chuck, make it a large one. Mud in your eye. Suppose we should soon be making tracks.
Yes. I suppose we should.
After a spot of lunch.
If you like.
Sorry about the dance, really.
It's all right.
Not reaching the climax, sort of coitus interruptus, eh? Forgiven?
Forgiven.
Now it's all over, do you mind telling me what it was all about?
Well, it's difficult to explain, really. I always thought the piece had potential as a ballet.
Bullshit. Tell me the real reason.
I'm damned if I know. I suppose...
Do you mind if I get comfortable?
No.
You've been here before, haven't you?
We're talking reincarnation now.
Camel feet, you know what I mean.
Yes, I've been here before. Long time ago.
With a woman?
Yes.
A woman you were in love with?
Yes.
Was she like me?
No, not at all.
How was she different?
Well, for one thing...
Oh? Go on.
Well...
You can't, can you?
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. Because there is no difference. In your mind, she was fanned, just as I'm fanned. Not a woman of flesh and blood, but some cute pin-up girl with some old dusty book of myths and legends. It's about time you stop living in the past. This is the 20th century, buddy. It's time to wise up.
Quite the little philosopher, aren't we? Excuse me, I've got cramp.
Oh, is that what you call it?
It's time we were packing.
Oh, come on, Chuck. One for the road.
Very well. What are you up to now?
Little unfinished business. Didn't want you to think I shortchanged ya.
Thought that was your speciality.
Not with kindred spirits, it's not. This is where we got to, isn't it? Start aside 4.
You don't have to, you know. All seems rather pointless in here.
Not if you use your imagination, it don't.
Very well, since you've taken the trouble to learn it. Do you think you could make the dance a little more traditional this time?
on the telephone. It's most urgent.
Don't you dare! Don't, please! Bastard! What's up? She got your number?
Pack your bags. We're leaving. Harriet's had a fall. She's carrying a tray of glasses. She cut her wrist.
I'll put my things in the car then.
Just give me 5 minutes to settle the bill.
Figure 2. Did I ever tell you how much this music meant to me?
You got better. That was good enough.
It was a long convalescence. I didn't play for you a year. You were very good to stand by me.
How long will that take?
Oh, the doctor estimates about 6 months.
Thank God that's not so bad.
I've lost the use of my hand. My career's finished.
Don't say that. There's an entire repertoire for the left hand. There's the Ravel Concerto for one. It's a marvellous piece.
It's hard enough to play with both hands, let alone one. My left hand was never my strong point.
Then I'll write one for you that's tailor-made.
Oh, you angel. Oh, and how appropriate to make my comeback in a new concerto written by you. Only don't make it so difficult this time, darling.
Is it bad?
See for yourself. It's time for the bandage to be changed.
Oh, that's a job for a trained nurse, surely.
Nonsense. It's easy when you know how. Of course, I'll have to see the doctor now and then, but he showed Mrs. Hobbs how to do it. When John told me you were coming to visit me, I told her she could have a few days off. I thought it would be nicer. Just the two of us together.
Of course.
Now you start by giving your hands a good scrub.
Sorry, my love, I'm not really used to this sort of thing.
You'll get used to it in no time.